which otherwise is called as independent study. If you look at the concept of independent study, some of the very popular universities across the globe practice this. Why do they practice this? Why is it important? Is because independent study is in fact a skill. Self-learning is a skill that everyone must possess. And it is a skill that is recognized globally. Various universities, various organizations check whether you have the skill to learn something by yourself or not. They check whether you're able to, learn something without anyone else holding your hand, anyone else, hand holding you to learn this particular concept, right? So independent study or self-learning is definitely one of the strongest skills that people recognize across the globe, and it is very much in demand, right? When you sit for a job interview, one skill that they will look into, right? One skill that they will search for in a student is, will this student be able to learn a concept by themselves and fit into a project? Because when you go to industry, you don't have textbooks, you don't have faculty who are teaching you anything, right? So you will have to pick up a skill all by yourself, by your own learning. The ability to do that is what we practice here, right? So don't assume that independent study or self-learning is where you don't have to sit in class, you just go around, roam around, spend time. No, that's not exactly what it is. It is a process to nurture that ability to learn something on your own, and it doesn't come easy. If you think that that's easy, no, it's not easy. People have been practicing, right? Students have been practicing over the years on how do they build this kind of a skill. And this comes by practice. It comes by enormous practice, right? And KL identifies that as a skill and gives you an opportunity to take it up, right? So, and what is the use of this? So why is it useful? Yes, it is a skill. We understand that. It would help you when you go into your career prospects. We understand that. But how does it help straight away, right in your engineering life? The way it helps you is when you study by yourself, the time that you have here on campus, you can utilize that for more collaborative work, right? So when you say, suppose you want to pick up one course and say that, okay, let me self-learn that. Then what would you do on the campus? You would still be on campus. You would still be doing a lot of activities. And which activities? Those activities which require immense collaboration. That's because collaborative nature is also a very tremendous skill every industry looks for, right? So the more time you spend collaboratively, the more effective it is, right? So whatever good time that you have in the department, always ensure you work collaboratively. That's also one of the reasons why we keep stressing students on flipped learning. What do you mean by flipped learning? You learn at home, you get back to the campus, and you start discussing about that collaboratively with a team. See, the usual traditional practices, how are they? The traditional practices are like you get into the class, teacher teaches you everything in the class, so you listen to the teacher, and then you go back home and you practice. But then there is a problem there. There is a drawback there. What is a drawback? When you actually practice, you do not have anyone with you. And that's exactly when you need people with you, right? When you listen to a faculty, you're all alone. You don't need anyone else to listen to faculty. And that listening doesn't have to be done within the classroom. It can be done anywhere. So when you listen and learn something, which can be done anywhere, you get back to the campus then and you start working collaboratively with people. So your campus time must be used for more collaborative work. Work that you take it up at your own pace and work that you define. That's the reason why I say that there is more of innovative activity as part of independent study. So you pick up various innovative activities and take them up as part of your independent study. Right? And if someone is trying to misuse it, obviously we have very clear tracking techniques to ensure that student activities are up to the mark. Right? So independent studies for those students who are sincere in their efforts. It is for those students who work honestly, who clearly know what their goal is, who clearly know that, okay, this is what I want to achieve as part of this independent study. So if you're a student who has that potential, if you're a student who thinks that I can be self-motivated, I can, work independently, I can work at a higher level, then independent study or self-learning is for you, right? And we take the self-learning one step forward. What we do is we move it into something called as peer mentoring. As the name says, peer mentoring is not just about helping your friends academically. Peer mentoring is about not necessarily every time you help your friends, because sometimes the time is so less, and what you need to do is so more that you may not get enough time to sit with your friends and explain them every concept. So what you do is you gain the capability. Whether you help them or not is a different story, but you gain the capability, right? And at the very heart of this peer mentoring, innovation stays. So I want you to be quite innovative in every phase of your life. Don't go with the standard ways. Don't go with the standard approaches. Don't go with standard practices. Don't go with standard evaluations, right? Design your own roadmap. Figure out how you would start and where you would end. There is no constraint of syllabus. There is no constraint of evaluation components. There is no constraint of four walls of a classroom. You design how you want to take it up. And every time be a good, strong critique of what your learning is, right? Ensure that you want to push it a little more higher, raise the bar a little more higher. Every time you achieve something, you raise the bar and say that, okay, let me now reach to the next level. And of course, as part of the entire process, you will design some of the innovative evaluation components that suit you, because your mindset, your learning, and how should that be evaluated? It cannot be evaluated in standard ways. It cannot be evaluated with regular, theory exam, paper-based exam. That cannot be done. We might have to evaluate you in a different way. We might have to let you work on a project. We might have to let you design something. We might have let you build a product. We might have leave you to, innovate something. So unless and until you come up with innovative evaluation components, it doesn't suit your learning. So you would do that. And you will accelerate the courses. You will speed up the courses. You will learn ahead of your peers. And that's the reason why you get chance for an early research. So usually third year, second semester is the time frame for research. But peer mentors, they start it early as they start in their second year, second semester itself, right? And one thing that constantly stays in the minds of peer mentors is their product building capabilities. So when they learn a concept, they don't just leave that concept there. Their goal is to be able to build something out of it. So when I'm learning, say suppose I'm a peer mentor for the course called Operating Systems Design, then I don't simply leave that course by learning the concepts. What do I do instead? I will eventually try to build some product out of it. And that is part of my course learning itself, right? So this concept of peer mentoring started with the Y17 batch, and then we had 3 successful batches of students, and the success rate in peer mentors has been tremendously large. Y17, we had 120 students, and all 120 peer mentors are now at some fantastic positions, right? Some of them have opted for placement, some of them have opted for higher studies. So there are students who are into the Wisconsin University. There are students who are into the CMU, the Carnegie Mellon University. There are students who are into UCLA. So there, some of the students, some of the peer mentors are into the best universities in the world, and some of them are into the best organizations in the world, right? I have my peer mentors working in ServiceNow with a package as high as 25 lakhs, right? I have peer mentors working with Cisco. I have peer mentors who are working with Cisco. Vaishnavi is also working with Cisco, and I have Saket working with Synopsys. So all these guys, these are very few achievements that I'm trying to project because I don't want to put in too many slides. If I have to put in, I'll have to put in all the 120 different slides for each one of them. But then what I'm trying to tell you is this concept actually works. You may think that this is tough. You may think that this is heavy. You may think that some people will think that, oh, if I learn by myself, what would I learn? But no, this concept actually works. So you could see the Y18 students also, they on their own have now become the CEH masters. Masters is not a small thing. It is a great achievement, right? So the success has been strongly spoken out. The success has been strongly visible, audible to everyone, right? Peer mentors have got some of the best successes throughout their entire placement journey or higher studies journey or their learning. One key essential thing for peer mentors is to be committed to what they learn, to be very responsible to what they learn, and to be very, very hardworking. They are the people who are like, oh, did I study for 1 hour? I think I should take a break. No, that's not what comes into their mind, because study for them is not a different activity. It is part of their life, right? So it is as good as their breathing. For them, learning is as important as breathing is. And that is the reason why they enjoy. That is the reason why they're so passionate about it. Even if I tell them that, okay, stop here and start focusing on this, they're like, no, we want to explore more. So I can give you examples of students from machine learning peer mentoring course who have done nearly about 27 different courses just to get into the depths of machine learning. There are students from DevOps specialization who have done around 4 to 5 global certifications. One global certification is large, 4 to 5 global certifications. And they are now in Agile Solutions. They are now in, there are quite a few companies which are recruiting for DevOps. So these guys have set a very different benchmark. And where did all these people come from? Your seniors, right? So get inspired by the way they learn, get inspired by how they work, get inspired by how committed they are, how honest they are. Commitment, honesty, responsibility, and tremendous zeal to put in hard work, right? So you should be active every moment. So we usually have meetings very late in the night. We usually have meetings very early in the morning. So it doesn't really matter. When we think that, okay, we have got time, let us go ahead and explore something, right? So on that note, I have got 3 of my peer mentors who wish to speak to you. I've got Surya Teja, I've got Pratik, and I've got Sana here.